and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Hello, good sir. How goes it on this beautiful, almost kind of sort of rainy Thursday night?
I don't really know. Ladies and gentlemen, I, of course, am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the political counter himself, Zealeus.
You don't know how it goes. That makes me super sad.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, so it has come to our attention that several of our episodes this year for the Thursday Night Hangout have been completely jacked by the end of the show. So, for those trying to watch us on YouTube or Facebook, they will find that it is not streaming on those platforms tonight. We're seeing if that perhaps can help maybe fix what issues we are having. But for those of you who are tuned into Twitch, ladies and gentlemen, this is a Thursday Night Hangout. It's a live show where we try our best to cover the topics most important to you during the show. If you, at any point during the show, have any thoughts, comments, questions, topics that you would like to for us to discuss, please drop it in the chat, and we'll try to do so as soon as possible. If we do run out of time, we will add it to the very next show. So, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so the first thing we've got to talk about is, oh boy.
Oh boy.
What do we have to talk about this week? How about AI showing its ugly head yet again? And this time, there is a true pushback that is happening. And that, of course, is, ladies and gentlemen, unless something crazy happens, starting tomorrow, the video game workers who are members of SAG-AFTRA, which is the voice actors guys, will be going on strike.
Hot diggity. I'm guessing it's over the compromise that was made earlier this year over the ability to use AI, and the guild is like, fuck no, we don't want to have any AI at all associated with our voices.
Exactly, my friend, exactly. So this is definitely centered around the use of AI to replace, or I guess, fill verbal or, story. Basically, what they want to be able to do is utilize a voice actor's voice to start it off with, and if they're like, oh, you know what, it would be awesome if this character said this, instead of paying for that voice actor to add to it with their own voice and have to pay them, they're just going to use AI. And the voice actors are like, no, that's no bueno. We no likey that. So, yeah.
This is definitely a case where I hope the guild wins. Because it's tricky, because, like, on one hand, like, we're a country of capitalism who's based on basically corporations, for better or for worse, kind of being able to do whatever they want. But this is clearly, I don't think there's really a debate. Like, AI is coming for all of us and our jobs.
Oh, absolutely.
At some point. Yeah. It might not be today. It might be 10 years from now. It might be, our kids' but at some point, it's going to happen where, like, AI algorithms, AI robots, et cetera, like, they will be able to do the function of humans. And the question is, like, do humans still do the work, or does AI do the work? And then what happens to the humans? I mean, I know that's many years in the future, but this is kind of laying in a way the groundwork for what's going to happen. Like, is AI going to effectively take those jobs? And then the problem is, what then happens to those employees who are getting paid by those jobs? And as AI slowly encroaches on the workforce, what's going to happen to all those workers?
Right.
And the thing is, it's going to take all the white collar jobs first.
Yep.
Like, the ones where you sit there at the computer and you're working, those are the ones that are at some point going to be much more easily automatable. Where it's just, you pop in a program and it spits out data and voila. those are the ones.
You know what the scariest thing though is that one of those things is testing.
Oh no, believe me, I know. I'm well aware, my friend. Definitely makes me go to bed sometimes worrying about that for sure. And it's like, I think there is a balance. Like, AI can help us do our jobs better. And I don't think anybody is saying, oh no, don't use AI at all. Like, I just don't think the boat's already sailed. Like, it's out. We know it's here. But I think there is that balance between AI taking human jobs and AI assisting our jobs. And, you know, like, if you think about it, like 50 years ago when computers first came out, there was this thought that, oh, computers will make our jobs easier so we have more time to be free. Because in the span of, 40-hour work week, we can now do the same work in 10 hours. Well, that's true. We can do the same work that used to take us 40 hours and 5 hours on our computer now. But guess what? We still got to fill our other 35 hours with something. So I think we've shown from the way the society works that if we effectively eliminate our jobs through efficiency, it's the employees, you and I, who have to work, who are host.
Right.
The solution to that, which has been talked about, has been like basically, I forget the technical term for it, but it's basically minimum income for everyone in the country, which that's never going to happen.
No.
Let's be real. Because that's kind of like the idealistic world where AI does the work, but they're able to do the work where there are enough resources for everyone to not actually have to work. Now we're talking like science fiction books. I'm sure there's some books that have gone down that route.
Well, right. I mean, there's some. Yes, Sam. It is a yeah.
I haven't drank that much. Damn. But it comes down to like, I don't know if you missed my opening monologue, Sam, where at some point AI is going to take all of our jobs.
Right. And
what happens at that point? That's, the great question.
Yeah. No, I too am a believer that AI can help and assist, but I don't want AI to be the driver all by itself and there's no passengers.
Yeah. And I mean, this strike, it is a good litmus test because they are, unfortunately, they are easily artificially intelligible jobs. From like, if we're talking like scale of how easy it's to AI, they are definitely on the easier spectrum. That doesn't mean I think that's a good thing or that they should just be like AI'd out of jobs, but that's from the litmus test as far as what's going to actually work and not work in society. It is kind of a good baseline to be like, okay, where do we go from here?
Yeah, well, I hope that voice actors win.
For the sake of all of us, I do too.
Yes. Okay, so another story that came up this week is something that let's talk about Activision Blizzard. There has been many talks that are starting to occur in their office revolving around, you guessed it, Overwatch 2.
Oh.
And these talks actually are really starting to gain traction over the push to maybe change something about Overwatch 2. And that is that there is discussion to revert back to 6v6.
My understanding was, I think season 13, they were going to actually try it.
Yeah.
Like officially and see how it goes. I haven't played Overwatch since Overwatch 2 came out, but I still follow the forums. From everything I've read, the major issue is, so those who don't know, Overwatch is role-based, meaning you have supports, DPS, and tanks. And yeah, right now 5v 5 comp, which is 2 support, 2 DPS, and 1 tank. Overwatch 1 was 2 support, 2 DPS, 2 tank. Effectively, what's happened, from my understanding, I have not played it, but having played a lot of Overwatch 1 and following the forums, is basically tanks have become such a fulcrum in terms of game output, meaning the tank, that 20% of a team, their effective capacity on a team in terms of winning and losing is far greater than just 20%, even though they only make up 20% of the team. So it's made tanks much more buffed because it's one role out of, they have the one role instead of 2 versus the other roles. And also the actual, nobody wants to play tank, is also what's happened, because there's very much a toxicity revolving around the tank role. Whereas if you lose, you get flamed because you're the reason your team lost, basically.
Gotcha.
That's a large issue. And there's this whole thing with like ranking where apparently like you can be like top 500 tank by basically being like really low tiered, because so few players actually play tank. It's effectively pushed down that floor skill level to be like a top 500 type of player. So it's had a lot of side effects. I haven't played it, so I can't really speak to the accuracy of it, but the overwhelming voice I hear, at least, is disliking the 5 versus 5, particularly in reference to 1 tank, and wishing he went back to having 2 tanks again. I don't know. We'll see what happens. There are issues with 2 tanks. I remember for a long time in Overwatch 1, there was the 2 shield tank meta, meaning basically pick 2 tanks, usually like an Orisa and a Reinhardt, who had tanks, and just created a very boring match because you're literally just shooting shields for the entire match, which isn't very fun either. Although my understanding is they've also not made shields as powerful in Overwatch 2 anyway, so I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. Yeah, and that is the tricky part of any PvP-oriented game. Balance is hard. So it's like, I have a hard time giving Blizzard Activision too much grief over 5v5 choice.
Yeah.
Because nobody's going to like the choice no matter what you do when it comes to balancing a PvP game. There's always going to be people who hate every choice you make. It's impossible to make everyone happy. Like it's never going to be like a perfect tripod of balance between DPS, support, and tank. It's just never going to happen. So at least they're trying and going to see what happens with 6 versus 6. And maybe that is a solution. But inevitably people are going to get pissed off about something in 6 versus 6 anyways.
Well, actually, from my understanding, the biggest hurdle that they're going to have to deal with the move, if they were to move back to 6v6, is how the Switch, the PlayStation 4, and the Xbox One hold up because of the extra power and processing that's going to be required.
That's fair. Yeah, I got nothing for that. Maybe it's a sign that developers should drop support for older systems. And yes, when it comes to games, I'm also including this OG Switch. I mean, it is underpowered comparatively speaking.
Obviously, right.
It definitely has its place. Don't get me wrong, but when it comes to a game like that, it is underspec. And yeah, yes, make games specifically for the PS5 and Xbox Series X, please.
Yeah.
It'll be funny, like the PS6 comes out and it's still games for the PS4, PS5, and PS6 released simultaneously. It's going to be just fantastic.
Yeah, that would be that is a good question. I mean, because they find, like, we were talking about last week. For those of you who caught the show, and hopefully you caught, we did it early. It was early enough of the show that the audio wasn't completely jacked. But the Xbox 360 marketplace, I think, is now officially closed. But they were finally closing it like last week. What
I'd be actually really interested in is how long did like the PlayStation 4, how long did developers, when the PlayStation 4 come out, also release simultaneously for the PS3 and PS4?
Right.
And kind of going back, like, how long did developers do this dual system release cycle? I'd be curious of.
Quick, someone get on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd just be kind of curious because, like, think about like when the PS2 came out, it's not like, oh, we're releasing both for the PS1 and PS2.
Yeah.
I feel like this is really a recent generation thing that we've seen.
I think it's because there's such yes, there is like a computational power upgrade, but it's not like a complete revamp of the graphics, how graphics are handled and all that stuff. Because you look at we went from 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit, 64-bit, and then we get a little bit crazier. You weren't, when Nintendo came out with a new console, they weren't coming out with Donkey Kong 64 for the Super Nintendo, okay?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you're right. It is a these later, or I guess newer, older generations where it's really all about the processing power under the hood and not basically them reinventing a bunch of stuff. Although, in total fairness, Nintendo has never been one of the companies that's done a lot of simultaneous platform releases.
Nintendo's always been special.
Yeah. Yes, they have their own special place. Now, speaking of technology and processing power, let's talk about the fact that Intel Core 13 and 14th generation processors are having a little uh-oh. And that is that there is an issue that is causing their Intel Core CPUs 13th and 14th generation to crash. And they believe that it is a microcode algorithm is causing an incorrect voltage request to the processor, which is causing the whole CPU to go.
I think it's also causing like oxidation issues or something like that.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, if you're zapping something at the wrong frequency, I'm sure that it causes all kinds of fun stuff.
I saw today too. AMD released or delayed the release of the Ryzen 9000 because basically quality control issues where it was not up to their standards. And like, I know we're used to the age of software patches, but it really sucks if hardware is released and it's not like properly quality controlled, because replacing a CPU is a hell of a lot more pain in the ass. A, it's just a pain to replace in general, and B, you also have to like be able to narrow down that's the actual issue, because they're probably going to be like, well, it could be the RAM, it could be the motherboard, it could be the like. There's so many things that they're going to try to tell you that it is, when it's like, how do you narrow it down to a over or under voltage regulated CPU? They're probably not going to want to take too much ownership of that, I'm assuming.
I'm going to be totally honest with you. I don't know if Delta uses Intel, but it probably, maybe a combo of Delta having computers with the 13, 14 generation Intel processors and CrowdStrike all combined.
I say CrowdStrike definitely uses Intel. We've learned that the hard way.
Oh, boy.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. All I know is I'm glad I'm not flying right now.
And the unfortunate thing is I have many friends who unfortunately were stranded in several different places. There was one of my buddies was stuck in the Bahamas because he couldn't get home. One was stuck in Los Angeles. Another one in New York. And if they wanted to get home, especially when all this shit really hit the fan, they basically bounced all over using Southwest and Frontier, I think, because they don't have up-to-date computers.
They're so old that they weren't affected.
Exactly. but you had to like, instead of a direct flight or maybe like a flight with one layover, it was 4 or 5 flights to get you close to your destination, because our Ultra Confusion's destination is Atlanta. And I can't tell you how many people I talked to who are like, yeah, we were ready to like fly into Jacksonville and just drive home from there, or from Greenville or Charlotte. So
Yeah, I heard a lot of stories of people taking like $500 Ubers.
Yeah, that too.
To get from one of those cities back to Atlanta, because that's literally
the only way.
The only choice they had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, has the flight situation resolved itself? Because I saw yesterday was still pretty fucked.
From my understanding, certain flights were finally taking off at the right time, and a lot of the airlines that were affected are doing heavy duty. We're sorry. Campaigns with like free Sky Miles or vouchers and reimbursements for like hotel stays, and because that was the thing, because with the system down, they couldn't do the vouchers and the reimbursements and stuff, because they could not get into their own systems.
Yep, it was a cascade of clusterfucks.
Yes. So going back to the Intel thing, there is going to be a patch that will be released mid-August to take care of this issue. But until then,
don't use your computer.
Do not make your computer work hard.
Lesson learned. Gotcha.
Word processing and email until mid-August.
Or I'll just stick with my Ryzen CPU and be happy.
Or if you are not an Intel person, then go about your merry day.
Yes.
Okay. Let's switch this over to, I don't know, potentially sad news for some people, and that is that a TV show that is based off a video game series has been canned.
Another one?
Huh?
Another one?
Well, I mean, another one. This one is Halo on Paramount Plus. It has been canceled. I believe it lasted 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I thought it was, I only watched like the first 2 episodes of it because I think it was like free on Amazon Prime for a weekend or something.
Perfect. Yeah.
That's
when I watched it.
And I was like, oh, this seems interesting. I don't know how much legs. Here's the thing. There were a lot of people who immediately railed against the Halo TV series simply for the fact that Master Chief takes off his helmet. Which sure.
Wait, hold on. You're Captain fucking Purist.
I'm not saying I have an issue.
The people who should be railing against the man about this, it should be you. So of all the times to be like, whatever, this is not the time I'd expect.
No, okay, but here's the thing. My only issue is that I was not blown away with the face behind the mask. I was like, oh, okay. I understood that they had to most of Hollywood and TV and movies that have characters that have masks in main characters that are wearing masks. It's I don't know why, but they have to. Audience members have to see individuals without the mask on. There's only one highly successful movie. There's a bunch of horror movies that do it. Because I could think of a couple right off the top of my head, but if you're talking like more mainstream, I know I was still kind of, what I'm trying to stumble upon is V for Vendetta.
That's immediately came to my mind. It is such a great movie.
Yes. Though I will say, I don't know if everyone knows this or not, but the individual who was behind the mask was not always. Of course, I just blanked out on his name.
Hugo Weaving.
Thank you, Hugo Weaving. It wasn't always Hugo Weaving; it was someone else. But the other guy he didn't feel comfortable with the mask on, and so they had to find a replacement. The original dude was I know here comes. I swear to God, I feel like I'm playing 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. But the guy who originally was behind the mask when the filming started was the actor who played the king in A Knight's Tale.
Wow, that's a throwback.
I know. But yeah, it's tough to not have your main character.
But I feel like that's okay.
James Purefoy.
I know it's Hollywood. That's a cop out. We say that because they don't do it. Like, right. It's not a fact. It's Hollywood thinks that you can't have a successful franchise with a helmet on, but we only do that because that's the only thing they've done. And they've shown with shows like Halo where. So I don't think the problem is that they deviated from the original Halo series. Right. I personally don't give a shit, honestly. Like, yeah. I'm one of those where, like, they deviate, I don't care. Where it frustrates me is if you're going to do something that already has an existing story, it's probably popular because people like that story.
Right.
Therefore, why wouldn't you use that story? I know I'm asking a rhetorical question because they have huge fucking egos and that's why they do it. I totally get it. But that's more so what irritates me is you already have a great story. Like, therefore, that's why you should use that story. And you look at something like Fallout, where it's like they already have a great built-in like story and world and all that. And they used it and look, it was successful. Imagine that.
Have you watched it?
What?
Have you watched the Fallout?
So I honestly have only watched half of it. I got bored of it, not going to lie.
I only watched the first episode. I still haven't gotten past the
first episode. It didn't draw me in, but I can also understand that it's widely beloved. And I'm okay with that. Like, not every show is for everyone, but I still appreciate everyone who likes it because it follows the story, because it told a good story. So I get that. So that's where I look at it. I'm like, there's already like, and even like for Halo, the showrunners, this isn't the only TV show it's happened to. I know there's other like video game and book based TV shows where it's like the showrunners are proud that they're not using the source material. It's like they're proud that they're putting their own special spin on it.
And I am proud to say I want to punch them in the nuts. Metaphorical nuts, just in case they don't have nuts.
Like, why are you proud of it? Like, there's already a great story there. Like, tell that story. And why are you hiring bloody showrunners who basically are showing that they don't care about the story?
Here's the thing. If you want to make I don't know, we'll just go with Fallout, even though it seems like they've kept some of the source material in there. But if you want to make a Fallout-like TV show, like, you know, I was inspired by playing this game, but you want to put your own spin on it, then do that. Just don't slap the name on there. Just in your fucking interview, say, I was inspired by the many years that I played Fallout. Okay.
Or you do like Defiance did.
Yeah.
Where you had the main TV series based in St. Louis, and then you had the video game. Where was the video game based out of? Do you remember?
It was L.A.
Thank you. Based out of L.A. That works too. So you get like the best of both worlds. You can use the original source material and pull in that franchise fans, but then you also have a 100% perfect legit excuse to tell your own original fresh story. So I'm like, why not just use that spin where it's like, instead of using Master Chief from Halo, you're using, I don't know any of the characters, so I'm using the minor chief character now. I don't know. Use some other random, like, your people from I don't know, France, and you're now in Europe being attacked by aliens or some bullshit. I don't
San
know.
Francisco, not LA. Sorry, just I had to. I knew that sounded wrong as soon as I said it.
But like, you can use the Defiance method and like use that source material, but do it originally.
Yeah.
And I think fans will be like, okay, cool.
I mean, it's you. To be totally honest with you, if you want a good example of, you know, utilizing, you've got a universe and there's a lot of source material, but being able to put your own spin on it, look at what Riot Games is doing. Okay? You have Arcane, and then you also have Legends of Runeterra, which basically has the same like, you know, the champions are some of the main characters in League of Legends, but it plays completely different. It's its own thing. It could stand on its own, but it's still in the same universe.
Yeah.
Or hell, there's a lot of other there's also a lot of other games that are built in that same thing. Hold on, I'm going to pull up my Steam list because I need to cheat to make sure that I get the right names here. Because I've bought three of the shit. I've bought 3 of the games. Holy crap. You've got now, of course, I can't find it. I see the logo in my head now. There it is, Song of Nunu, a League of Legends story, or you have the I think it's like a Cursed King one. You know, make it your own. But don't say that, you know, it's gonna be carbon copy.
The other issue too with the Halo series, at least the first season, I haven't seen the second one. They do the thing where they're basically trying to tell 3 stories in parallel.
Which is kind of what Fallout's doing as well.
But I'm pretty confident that one of the storylines in Halo, nobody cared about. I'm not going to say more than spoilers, but there was one, and if you ever watch more, you'll know exactly which one it is, I'm sure. And you watch and you're like, I just don't care about these characters. And a lot of shows do that. I feel like Halo, honestly, they wanted to be like The Expanse.
Yeah.
Where they wanted to do a space show with the multiple, you know, things that sometimes interweave.
Yeah.
But The Expanse also, I haven't read the books, but my understanding is it also stayed pretty true to the source material.
That reminds me, I still need to go back and play that Telltale game.
The Expanse?
They made a Telltale game for.
It's a great TV series.
I watched like a ton of it and then stopped, and then I need to go back and rewatch it. Unfortunately, right now I somehow jumped back on the bandwagon of an early sci-fi channel TV show called Sanctuary.
Ooh.
And so I'm like halfway through first season, and I think it lasted 4 or 5 seasons. So it may be a while before I switch over to something else.
I'm finishing up my season 22 of Grey's Anatomy.
I'm starting my season. Let's see here, season 15 of One Piece.
Nice.
Which is that's not even like a dent in the entire freaking storyline. But whatever. Anyways, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pause real quick to thank the individuals who help Alta Confusion be the Alta Confusion that you love and adore. And those, of course, are the friends of the show. And so without further ado, let us start it off with the Indie Cluster. The Indie Cluster is an organization of independent game developers that want to gain exposure by being involved in the community. They collectively journey to popular conferences as a traveling booth to help gain attention for their games. They make partnerships in local communities to bring games to the mainstream mindset. They highlight local, unusual, and rare concepts to challenge the paradigm of the common. They also host events to teach kids and minority groups about game development to hopefully one day enter the industry themselves. For more information, go to indiecluster.com. The next shout out we got to give is to the newly camera dude over in Baltimore, and that, of course, is Noodle Boy Media. Founded in 2015 by Andrew Tran, Noodle Boy Media, previously Whack Kid 47 Media, is your choice for professional photo shoots, and panel recordings at conventions. They pride themselves in providing a high level of professionalism, top-notch experiences, and quality services. If you want more information and to view their full list of services, check out facebook.com/noodleboymedia. Then, of course, this next one is especially awesome if you live in the greater Atlanta area to get all those aches and pains out of your body from either just, daily wear and tear. Perhaps you were gaming too long or had to suffer through some crunch time at your computer. Ladies and gentlemen, Hero Chiropractic is a unique healthcare practice headed by Ryan Moore. The company's focus to elevate a patient's experience of freedom, creative expression, and joy. They believe that everyone can be a hero and has incredible heroic potential inside themselves waiting to be unleashed. Hero Chiropractic focuses on mobile chiropractic care in the greater Atlanta area. They are committed to healing clients by creating a plan of action uniquely suited for each person. They make that plan of action as convenient and affordable as possible, and most importantly, suited to your individual needs. For more information, go to herochiropractic.com. The next shout we got to give is to the music maestro himself, and that, of course, is CrossPad Creative. Need a new logo or want to work on a full branding and content strategy? Or maybe you need music or audio for your content, just like Alter Confusion. CrossPad Creative offers a whole host of solutions for individuals and small businesses. Just email Josh at crosspadcreative@gmail.com and see what he can do for you. And the final shout out we got to give is the original patron of Alter Confusion. That, of course, is Agile Axiom. By day, Axe leads both the development team and system administration team working on satellites at NASA's Goddard campus. But while not in meetings, and many times during, he is the Agile evangelist, Agile Axe, championing the philosophy of Agile and trying to make the world a better place for software developers, testers, system admins, and software projects the world over. Decades of experience in software development and leading Agile teams are brought to bear against evil processes, inefficient work, and bad habits. For more information, and of course, you should also check out his book, but for more information, go to agileaxiom.com. Excuse me. Had to take a sip of my drink. All right.
The elixir of life.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know at this time you've got to be dying to know, how do I become a supporter of Alter Confusion? Well, that's quite simple. Ladies and gentlemen, Alter Confusion survives on the love and support of fans like you. And so we have a Patreon page. Patreon lets you, the fans, lovers, haters, demigods, interdimensional beings, gods, demons, aliens, swamp creatures, werewolves, vampires, mummies, supporters, and more to become active participants in the work we love through a monthly membership. This gives you access to exclusive content, community, and insight into our creative process. In exchange, we gain a bit more freedom to do our best work and the stability we need to build an even stronger creative career. We currently have two tiers. There's the $1 tier, that's $1 a month or $12 a year. What that gets you is early access to all the playthroughs as well as patron-only posts. If you're feeling a little extra frisky, you can pump that up from a 1 to a 5, and that's $5 a month. $5 a month or $60 a year. Not only do you get everything at the $1 tier, but you also gain your name or organization added to the Friends of the Show section of every single Thursday night hangout. So if you want to become a patron of Alter Confusion, go to Patreon. That's patreon.com/altered confusion today. Now, the next Alter Confusion shout out we got to do is, of course, ladies and gentlemen, Alter Confusion is proud to say we have been fundraising for Extra Life for 13 years straight. Extra Life is gamers doing what they do best, game, to help sick and injured children at their chosen Children's Miracle Network Hospital. The money they raise through Extra Life will go directly to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta as unrestricted funds. This means that the hospital decides where and how to spend the money to ensure the dollars we raise make the biggest impact in the lives of the kids they treat. So if you have the capacity to donate, go to extra-life.org and search for Altered Confusion. And Sam, yes, I agree. Patreon. Pay up, you deadbeats. Ladies and gentlemen, I do want to put... as much as I would love to say that our money for Patreon goes to drinking.
What about cat food?
Or cat food. Or,
what? No?
Or, I guess Zealeus would love for, I don't know, a masseuse to come over and get all of Rose's kinks out, because Hero Chiropractic is only human practice.
Wait, hold on. I have a problem with this though. According to the official Ultimate Fusion merchandise website, you sell things like coffee mugs, which can hold whiskey,
Yes.
and pet food trays. So therefore, if I'm going to get the official merchandise, then the patron should pay for the use of that merchandise. I'm just saying.
Ooh, okay, so the money made off of the merchandise, which of course you can get your own Ultimate Fusion hat, sticker, coffee mug, just like this one right here, for your needs by going to alteredconfusion.tv/merch. That's MERCH. The money that comes from that, there we can perhaps, if enough people buy the coffee cup, we can buy a bottle of whiskey, and then Zealeus and I can drink said bottle of whiskey in cups, Ultimate Confusion cups.
Yes, I approve of this idea.
But the Patreon money literally just goes to trying to help us get to conventions.
Fair enough.
At this point.
That is important.
Yes, very important. And to upgrade or update equipment when it breaks.
And then we can all look and sound pretty.
Yes. That's the hope. That's the dream. Anyways. All right. I feel like I had something I wanted to add, but now I can't remember it. So we're just going to go on with the show.
It'll come to you later.
I'm sure it will. And if it doesn't, well, fool you on that. Okay. Let's talk about something that's sad, because that's what we do every single freaking week now. And that, of course, is that there is an indie game publisher, Humble Games, has reportedly laid off their entire staff. However, when asked about the shutdown, they have come out and said, this is not a shutdown, this is a restructuring. If you laid off your entire staff, what is there to restructure?
It's the easiest restructuring ever.
I got it.
A restructuring of zero?
AI is going to be where all the employees are being replaced by AI.
They should just ask ChatGPT what to do.
ChatGPT or Gemini on Google, or Copilot on Microsoft Teams, or insert other AI mastermind.
Just wait until the AI start battling us. That's truly the end.
Aren't they already battling us, though?
Probably.
Ah, jeez. We're all going to die. But yes, the indie game publisher, Humble Games, has laid off its entire staff. Now,
are they the one who did the Humble Bundle, or is that different?
So they are... it's the separate publishing arm. It's a separate publishing arm of the digital storefront Humble Bundle. So they're not the same.
Gotcha.
Because when I first saw the story, I was like, "Oh shit, Humble Bundle is going down. That's crazy." But no, there's a publishing arm that's basically helps indies get their thing published. It kind of reminds me of the indie box, which apparently is sort of still alive, but you don't get a box in the mail anymore. It's more digital.
You get a digital code in the email.
No, it's more like you can get like exclusive merchandise for these indie games. So it's basically it's what you would get in the physical box, but without the game, or maybe with the game. I don't know. It was very confusing, because I swear that indie box shuttered, because I rode that wagon until they stopped sending stuff out. But
anyway. I remember you doing that, because I remember you also got some physical swag.
Oh yeah, I got socks. I got some weird ass swag too. I got some socks. I got some the footy socks. The ones that have individual toes on it, which is just weird to me.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So,
but you got some cool stuff too. It's kind of neat.
Yeah. You never know. There's always a diamond in the rough. But yeah, the Humble Games publisher, okay, the publishing arm, were the publishers on games such as Stray Gods, Bo, Path of the Teal Lotus, Chinatown Detective Agency, Eichenfell, Unpacking, Slay the Spire,
Oh,
and
that's a big
Midnight
one.
Fight Express, just to name a few. And I think there's several other games that I thought they were in line to publish that have not been released yet. So my question is, how
Hmm.
screwed are those companies that are now kind of thrown into the great unknown because their publisher is now kaputs? Well, sorry, getting restructured.
Mm.
Because I have
Seems
this
like it's always not happy news.
I have this funny feeling that one of the games that we actually talked about at MomoCon is one of the companies that's or one of the games that's being affected. Yeah, it's oh shoot, what's the name of that game now? Oh, I'll have to dig through my records, but I think there's definitely I think it's called Breeze. I think
Now
it's
I'm curious.
I think it's a I think it's a I think it's like a platformer with that stars like a corgi in the the title role. But yeah,
Hmm. Maybe. I don't know. There was a lot of games there. I definitely don't remember them all because my brain's not that smart.
if I was a smart man, which I'm not, I would have made a list of all the people I interviewed, and it would have Breeze in the Clouds is the name of the game because it looks like Charlie for once actually did something correctly. Hooray, Charlie!
I'm proud of you.
Huzzah! Okay, speaking of games and platforms and all that jazz, let's talk about the fact that Google is about to step up its game on trying to control the content that's on its App Store,
Mm.
which I can't believe it's taken them this long to do it. But Google has confirmed the Play Store app deletion initiative is now, I think it's like five
Underway.
5 months away, I think. And so basically, this is an attempt to try to get rid of all of the malicious apps that could be just sitting there. Google has come out and said we're updating the spam and minimum functionality policy to ensure apps meet uplifted standards for the Play catalog and engage users through quality functionality and content user experiences. So I'm trying to remember. Okay, so for example, text only or PDF file apps, apps with very little content that do not provide an engaging user experience. For example, single wallpaper apps and apps that are designed to do nothing or have no functionality. So my question to you is, why the hell would someone download an app that has no functionality? Are you just bored? Are you trying to say look how many apps I can put on my phone?
Well, they probably have very low downloads, but I'd also imagine it's to try to clean up the App Store experience.
Yeah.
So it's not so much the shittification of the app stores, but I think we're also well past that point.
Now my question is, I understand. I'm totally cool with this initiative. Clean up your app store because they're going they're going up against the iTunes.
Oh yeah, the
Store.
App Store. That's competition.
And so they want a better user experience. But I want to know is how were they going to deal with clone apps? Like
The Flappy Birds clones when that became all the rage.
Angry Birds or the Disgruntled Pigeons, or was it like Temple Run, and then it was like, then someone came out with like Ruin Rush.
Yep. I would also guess they're not actually hiring any moderators. They're just magically doing some AI algorithm.
Oh, you son of a bitch! You said the magic word, AI.
I'm sure they are. I mean, it's not Google's MO anymore to actually spend money on anything functional. It's reduced all costs at all potential cost.
Of course. Of course. Duh.
Why would anyone think otherwise?
Yeah.
I don't use the Android Studio. I haven't been on the Android store in forever.
I
don't have Android.
I
did once upon a
I have a
time.
Chromebook, and the only store I go, well, no, I've been in the Google Play Store, but it's to download, like the Twitch app or the Fitbit app or the Patreon app or the Instagram app, because every single time I try to open up one of those damn things in the Chrome browser on a Chromebook, it goes, there's an app for that.
Oh, I know. And you have to be logged in to use it. You can't just view social media websites without having an account.
Hooray.
Yeah.
Um,
It always annoys me because everyone always links to Twitter.
Yeah.
But you can't view anything on Twitter without being logged in as an account.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I just want to see what this stupid link was about.
Here's the link. Now, of course, we if we were, nice people, we'd actually give you what you're looking for. But what we're going to need you to do is we need you to go to the Google Play Store, download the Twitter app, log in there.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And then you can see, maybe, possibly, who knows, maybe. But remember that all these fucking apps are usually set for either smartphone or fucking tablet and not a computer. And so if you try to make the sizable, size it to your computer's screen dimensions, you may break the damn thing.
Stop breaking people's apps.
I'm sorry. I want full screen, like true full screen. Is it that hard?
It's the size of a phone. How much bigger do you need, sir?
I need the size of a laptop screen. How about that?
Nope, can't have it. Nope, illegal.
Okay, so in the final story that I've got here, there is a gentleman out there who lost his shit over frustrations with a game that was published by Nintendo called Splatoon 3. And he, to physically show his frustration, or I guess verbally, I don't know, but he apparently sent bomb threats to Nintendo, and now he's getting a prison sentence for doing so. He allegedly made 39 threats to events organized by Nintendo last year, was recently convicted to 1 year in jail plus 4 more years on probation. His actions did lead to postponement of 2 Nintendo events, and he soon confessed to his crimes once he was arrested.
Yeah, that's probably no bueno.
Yeah. So when his threats included kill everyone involved in the competitions at these Nintendo events, you know that that's not just something that can be swept under the rug.
Yeah. Was he like upset that his like fan fiction got shut down or something, or like his ROM's website is illegal? What did Nintendo do to piss him off so much?
I'm not sure. It says it's because his frustration over Splatoon 3. Oh, it's because he was losing too much.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me be the bearer of bad news. There are individuals who will excel at certain activities, be it games, writing, painting, drawing, sports, um, intellect. And then there's others who do not excel at those, but maybe they excel at other things. To take out your frustrations for your shortcomings at a certain activity that maybe you're not going to be the best at is time that could be spent on honing your skills at something you're actually good at.
Or going to therapy.
That too.
Because obviously there's issues there.
There's some wonderful online therapy options for you. BetterHelp is the first one that comes to mind, but I know that there's a bunch of other ones out there. I was a BetterHelp client until they raised their rates, and I decided to jump onto a different platform. But it's still a viable, good option for individuals who may not want to do physical face-to-face therapy. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with asking for help.
Yes. Probably a better alternative than sending bomb threats.
Yes. And let me tell you, there have been times in certain games where, actually, you know what? In my online gaming experience in a competitive landscape, I've never once wanted to try to strangle the developer. Well, no, that's not true.
Let's say, clearly you have not played video games hard enough.
I know. I've not been pissed off enough to send the threats to the developers or the publisher of the game. I may mutter underneath my breath about the desire to destroy certain individuals online for their ineptitude, or for them just to shut the heck up because I'm done with them trying to ridicule me for just trying to play.
Yeah, I think everyone gets upset at their video games. They get annoyed when they get canned. They get annoyed at people who grief them. They get annoyed at every FromSoft game because they just can't get good enough to actually win them. But most people have ways of dealing with the outlets of not doing not socially acceptable activities, such as bomb threats, throwing controls or screens, going on a rampage, all of the above.
Picking your TV off your wall and throwing it onto the floor.
I don't think I could actually do that anymore. I think like my TV would literally give me a hernia if I tried lifting it by myself.
Oh, I'm sure it would.
So it's a built-in safety feature.
But let's be honest, when you got that adrenaline pumping, sometimes you believe you can do more, or don't even think about the consequences, or if you can and cannot do something, you're going to try to do it.
What you're saying is I would try to lift my TV to break it, and I would hurt myself so badly in the process, I would like sideline myself from being able to play video games, so it's actually a good thing.
Maybe?
Maybe? I don't know.
I
don't know.
Yes, all the questions. When we were talking about Patreon, we were talking about the early access to playthroughs. The first 11 episodes, 11 episodes, man, I can't think straight. The first 11 episodes for Still Wakes the Deep has just been uploaded. I will put the description in there, and then I will set it to basically the private viewing for those who are patrons of both levels, so you can enjoy that game. It is, man, it's creepy as hell.
Good creepy?
It's good creepy. I do find it kind of funny. So it is definitely the dialogue is English. However, it is, I want to say it's somewhere from, it's one of the regions in the UK. And so, you know, you use different, there's different words for certain things.
Hmm.
Case in point, when I say I'm wearing a pair of pants in the U.S., pants may not mean the same thing over in the U.K. as it does here. They go with trousers. Biscuits over there could be cookies here. And so when you're reading I like to turn on the subtitles. And so sometimes it does not line up all that well because they're using slang. And so but in the subtitles they'll put what it actually means. Like if they say something slang and something I guess like Welsh for like phone or friend or something, and the subtitles be like phone or friend. And so you're just like, oh, okay. Because I understand why they're doing it, but at the same time, for me, it kind of, I'm OCD, and so I'm like, but that's not what he said.
Oh, I can see that. Or like when they have choices, and it's like the choices are like, I want to help you, I want to kill you. And like you choose, I want to kill you. And instead your character goes like on a monologue of like, I think you're a terrible person, and you should remedy your actions.
Right.
I'm like,
it's like
that's not what he said.
That's not
at
right.
all.
Right. That's not. You didn't use any of the dialogue in the dialogue option I actually chose.
I hate when games do that. What also really annoys me, so you're talking about dialogue, right?
Yeah.
And how you have like the text is. So I'm one of those where like even if it's voiced, like I'll listen and I'll like read quicker than it's voiced, and I'll skip to the next scene, right?
Yeah.
By hitting A.
Yeah.
But what they do is it's like they have that little thing at the bottom where it's like A to go to the next scene or like B to skip entirely, right?
Yep.
But it goes away after 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to hit A once to get it back, and then I have to time it right to like not skip the next scene right after that it's transition to, but I want to skip to the next one. Does that make you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's like, no, like just keep up that stupid little like skip thing the entire time because it's not even over the dialogue box in the first place.
Yep.
So literally the like little help box going away solves absolutely nothing. And it's just like an annoying extra cumbrance because literally the time it takes me to read, it's like it goes away.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I finish reading, it goes away. I'm like, you son of a bitch.
No, my favorite thing, or I guess I say this sarcastically, is when I am, you've got they've got the speech box at the bottom, and there's also voiced, and so I read the speech box faster than the voice. But sometimes, and so I'll hit A to advance. But then there's sometimes where I will maybe I get slightly distracted, or maybe they're using some weird ass words that slow down my reading, and so. Because I've been basically tapping A through the entire scene, I'll hit A, but it will happen like a nanosecond after it flips to the next one.
Yep.
And so it'll skip the fucking dialogue. You're like, no, what? No, what?
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what's happened. And it annoys me. I'm like,
Yes. Zealeus, what have you been playing?
Final Fantasy 14 and First Descendant.
I have been playing Hades 2, Still Wake the Deep, and Legends of Runeterra.
So there was a fun bug with First Descendant where there's this robot helper who like they're basically like the guide, like they tell you how to do shit in the game.
Right.
And it was obviously a bug because it's not voiced over, which that's not an issue, but the text that I was just talking about would give you like 2 seconds to read like a 3-paragraph essay.
Mm-hmm.
So you start reading it, it would skip to the next thing. And it was obviously timed because it's not actually voiced over. So somebody like flipped a switch or something where like this one quest giver made the text go so damn quick they couldn't actually read it. And they obviously fixed it because like 2 days later it was fine again.
Right.
But there was a period there where like, I don't know what was actually going on. It was actually helpful because it was like how to do shit in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what I missed now.
There's also those games out there that will give you like detailed instructions like in a tutorial. Yes. And they're like, oh, you could always go to the start menu to review it. But there are games out there that give you, like, if you accidentally missed something in the tutorial, maybe you need a refresh. You go in, you're like, okay, they'll give me like a little video or something. But it ends up being like a very condensed form of, this is not going to help me. like
I want the original explanation. Damn it.
Yes. I want the voiceover that walks me through this shit sometimes.
Or what like JRPGs need is like, if it's a text you haven't played for like 2 months, you come back like, oh, you have not played. Would you like to redo all the tutorials again? Yes, please.
Let me give you a recap of what's happened and also a recap of the more advanced stuff that you probably are going to want to know how to use again.
Because I'm not going to remember any of that shit.
Yeah.
My brain ain't that big.
Yeah. Oh, I did pick up something random on Steam because it was on like heavy duty discount. That, of course, is Castle Crashers, which was a hell of a fun game that I played a shit ton back in the 360 days.
Yep. I remember buying that on the 360 so we could play together.
Yep.
Online.
That was a lot of fun.
That was a good game.
Mm-hmm. I wonder what happened to that studio.
Well, because it's a couch co-op game too.
Yeah, exactly. Which I love the ability to hot seat. Or
like
it's the good old days. Split screen if necessary. Sometimes.
Which is ironic now because we have big enough TVs to make it even better.
I know.
Like, remember playing like a 25-inch TV and you had 4 of you playing? You'd have to stand like 2 feet from the screen so you could actually see what's going on.
Yep. Which made screen watching so freaking easy. Because
although I think we all played at our same friend's house who had the giant projection screen in his basement.
Yep.
Oh, that back in the day, that was a gaming experience.
Oh, hell yeah.
That was awesome.
Hell yeah. Anyways. All right. Zealeus, are you here next week?
Yes, I'm here next week. It's the following week I'm out.
Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning into the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been a pleasure getting to come our heads, our mouths, and, of course, our hearts. We'll be back next week for another Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming and the free world.
Amen to that, brother.